Hey, this is Justin from the beginning of the end of the podcast. I get really heated, so trigger warning for pedophilia, children dying, assault, sexual assault. Um, yeah, yeah. My name's Justin, aka Discount Macklemore.
What does that mean?
You remember? Okay.
I mean, I know thrift store, but I don't... Or thrift... What's it?
No, in the movie.
Oh! I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm there now. I'm picturing it. That's a great way to start. Discount Macklemore. We're starting Divergent today.
Yes, and I hate reading.
You do hate to read. Okay, I'm there now. I'm picturing Discount Macklemore. He really does look like Discount Macklemore.
Yeah. Value Village Macklemore.
Yeah. So today, Divergent, the first part. I've got a lot of beginning stuff to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should just go for it. This is the books, not the movies.
Yeah.
The only thing that's making these movies or these books readable for me at this moment is picturing the guy who plays 4.
Yeah. He a tasty boy.
Theo James. Chef's fucking kiss there on the casting. Yeah. I don't even think he looks like how I imagined the character looking.
But now he does.
Okay. So, Divergent was written by Veronica Roth. Have you heard about her at all, Justin? Probably not.
No.
Okay. That's okay. I mean, she's written the Divergent series and a couple other little things here and there.
All YA stuff?
Actually, she's taken a turn from YA, and I'll go into that in a minute. This book was released in 2011 as a YA...
A wonderful time.
Right. As YA young adult novel, or series. And it was released pretty much side by side Maze Runner and Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So Maze Runner is actually what we're doing next.
Are pretty good. It's pretty good first movie.
The first movie for this one, it was pretty good.
No, not Divergent. Maze Runner.
Oh. You're like, no, let's not talk about Divergent anymore already.
Yeah. If we can actually skip Divergent.
No, we do have to read it.
More like Divergence.
I'm going to be honest. I've only watched the...
You didn't say anything about my Divergent.
Ha ha! Is that better?
No.
I have only finished this series once. I don't remember, and you know me, I'm a chronic rereader.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the end at all. I also don't remember the end of Maze Runner, and I've never seen all the Maze Runner movies.
Did you finish Harry Potter, the books?
You're gonna pull that mic plug right out.
I'm not.
I did finish Harry Potter when I was 19 or 20.
Yeah.
I finally read them, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you just got most of the way through.
I was a Percy Jackson kid.
Yeah.
And Warrior Cats, and those didn't overlap with Harry Potter very
when
much.
When we do Harry Potter, because we're definitely going to do Harry Potter, it's going to be a weird role reversal where I know more of the lore than you do.
Yeah, it'll be
because
good.
I fell asleep to the audiobooks since I was 7.
Yeah, and they're good.
Yeah.
Minus J.K. Rowling. Which we're gonna keep going. So
well, I stopped. I'm doing something else now.
What does that mean?
I'm doing something else now for sleep.
Oh, okay. So the film released in 2014, so 3 years in between. Veronica Roth originally wrote the book from a different character's perspective than the one, and switched it later. So I think that kind of... I think that you can see that clearly. For me personally, I don't think... Okay, this is my next line that I wrote. I think Divergent is a great example of somebody's first work.
Yeah.
And I really don't mean that in a bad way. It's a great plot. The writing's a little immature. And it's clearly written by somebody who has room to improve.
Yeah.
It also hits just every stereotypical dystopian romance trope that upset me. Which we'll talk about a little bit later. I also did Google controversy next to the author's name, Veronica Roth. It seems like in one of her more recent books, she had some issues with racism and disrespect for chronic pain. But I haven't read the book, so I can't speak much on the issue. Just a note.
Okay.
All right.
I like how we add in a cancellables
well,
section.
we have to now.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, the only one where I was like, oh, shit, I should have talked about that more was Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
And I feel like we did talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But there's always more for him.
The thing is, too, canceling's not real. It's just consequences.
It's literally just consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
And it seems like after that book, she transitioned away from YA.
Yeah.
Again, can't speak much on it. So, Justin, you mentioned Discount Macklemore. This is what I want to ask you. I have a couple of questions here.
Do not ask me who he plays.
I won't.
Do not.
What do you know about the book/movie Divergent? Just the first one. If you can separate them.
They have a fucking Harry Potter sorting system for their jobs.
Yeah.
She's weird.
She's so quirky.
She's weird about the sorting hat shit.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so it seems like not much. That's okay. What you said was, I mean, the basic crux of it.
Yeah. And then plot. And then plot occurs.
And then plot, yes. Goodreads review. What do you think Divergent is rated on Goodreads? And I will tell you there are 3.8 million votes.
Oh.
Out of 5.
Is it in the 3s? Mm-mm. Damn.
Is that your guess?
I was thinking low 3s.
How about high 4s? It's 4.2.
Oh.
So it's rated really highly. I think that's just the first book. Which
Go to the last book.
Not yet. Can't start there. Okay, so you were saying the Hogwarts houses.
Yeah.
And this is my next question. This is my last question for you. There are 5 factions, is what they're called.
Yeah.
What do you think they are?
So they had losers.
Okay.
Where they're just people doing shit.
Okay.
You got the smarties.
Okay.
Got the fighter boys.
Okay. Definitely got 3. I think for losers, are you talking... Just keep going.
They're just common folk. Losers.
Yeah. That's
NPCs.
Her initial faction. Yeah, okay. 2 more.
Water boys?
Okay.
No, that's not one of them.
I'm not telling you
There's
anything.
no water.
There's no water? What
There's
do you mean?
there's no, like, standing water that they fuck around in.
Okay.
Right?
Just keep going. I'm not telling you anything.
Medicine boys and military boys.
Okay. I think the 3 you got hit the first 3.
Yeah.
And then you fell off track.
Yeah,
there.
no idea.
Because
they're not important to the plot at all.
Yes, that's at least not in this first book. I mean, kind of not at all. But you were right. Smarties, Fight Boys, and NPCs are pretty much the 3 we
main
talk
ones.
about. I will introduce them all in a minute.
It's crazy. They're the Hufflepuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 4th one. There's a 4th one, too.
And I've heard they're good at finding things.
What the fuck?
But what was I going to say? So, Fight Boys, Smarties, and Losers. And then the other 2 would be Truthies and Hippies. And we'll talk about those. I'll go through them in a minute. But I do want to tell you...
they're political boys?
That Losers are the political boys. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about Bruno, okay? Bruno goes, me? But you made me lose my train of thought. Oh, Standing Water. This book, this area that this city is in...
It's in Chicago?
Chicago. So there is standing water. There's the lake.
Oh, I thought they were, like, walled off from that.
You know, they never talk about it. They might be.
Yeah.
They go to the Navy Pier, so I figured that the lake's got to be there, but they don't talk about the lake. Okay.
Weird. Do you know boats for the lake have to be designed completely different than ocean lakes? Than ocean boats?
Ocean
God
lakes?
damn.
Tell me about ocean lakes. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fun.
It's just because the waves are so different that it will break an ocean ship.
Did you know that they reversed the Chicago River for purely selfish reasons?
Yeah.
And it's fucked everything up since?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I kind of... This book... Go ahead.
Reverse it back.
Put that shit back. See what happens.
Yeah.
This book is just one POV, which is way nice. But because it's just one, I've kind of broken it up into, like, where I feel like, okay, that part of that book is done. So my own little parts. Mm-hmm. So this first bit is, I call it the, like, before, and it's chapters 1 through 6. And this is when we're introduced to our main character, Beatrice Pryor, who's getting her haircut according to the schedule allowed by her faction, which is on the second day of every third month in front of the only mirror in the house. So this is just kind of setting up her original faction. She's a 16-year-old girl, and wow, is she petite. Wow, is she so itty-bitty tiny. She's short, petite, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Pick her up and throw her?
Pick her up and throw her, kind of tiny.
When's Throw Short People Day? Is that December 22nd?
I think it's the day after Christmas.
It's day after?
Yeah, like that's how we celebrate here in the U.S. is we throw short people.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm 5'8.5". I'm taller than Zac Efron. What? How dare you? Take it back.
I think you have to be like under 5'2" for Throw a Short Person Day.
Yeah.
That's my metric at least.
She's part of the faction Abnegation. I haven't said it out loud in a really long time. So that's losers for you.
Yeah.
And tomorrow is the ceremony. She has to decide on the faction she's going to join forever. And she's really anxious about it.
Do the other factions have kids?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they just sent all the kids to this faction and...
No, all the kids are raised in their own factions.
Okay.
And then on ceremony days, she has to choose which faction she wants to be a part of
live
permanently.
in, yeah.
But they get this aptitude test, which is actually what's happening the first couple chapters.
That's sorting.
Sorting, yeah. So the aptitude test will tell them what they most strongly agree with. Mm-hmm. But they can choose whichever. It doesn't matter, pretty much.
So they can be like, you're a fight boy.
And then they can be like, no, I don't want to do that.
I'm a smart guy, actually.
Yeah, fuck that. Beatrice has an older brother named Caleb. They're Irish twins, so they're in the same school year and things like that.
Yeah.
Irish twins... What?
Is that a bad thing? Or were you just getting into if that's a bad thing or not?
Well, I was about to say Irish twins is what I've heard my whole life. People who are born within a year of each other. Kids who are born within the same year. I've heard there's some controversy about it, but I don't know. I think it's because it's like the white stuff. I don't know. So they're both going to do this aptitude test today. Mm-hmm. And at the aptitude test, like her faction, she's got to be very quiet. She's prim and proper, but she watches the Dauntless arrive. Fight boys.
Fight boys are here.
And they arrive from the train and they just jump off of the train.
They're fighting boys.
Oh, they're going.
Oh, they're fighting boys.
And Beatrice is a very timid girl. She's got lots of thoughts that she can't share with everybody.
Do they... Wait. Do the trains... Does anybody else use the trains?
Not that I've seen. I think they use it for, like, produce and, like, movement of things. But the Dauntless are really the only ones who are on the trains physically.
Okay. Because in the movie, it was, like a subway car. Mm-hmm. And they're standing on... So they just have empty subway cars with Dauntless standing on top of them.
They're not on top. They're in the train. Physically inside the train.
Oh, okay. And they jump out of the train.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, you know how Chicago has the L?
Yeah.
It's like the L, but if the L was, like, manufacturing trains.
They switched it to,
versus, like, passenger trains. So, she's like, I can't, like, I don't know what I want to do. Am I going to be abnegation? Like, Dauntless is so cool. Like, I don't know. Then she has her aptitude test.
Which is... they're like... Go back where you from.
It's administered...
The aptitude test is super racist.
The aptitude test is very racist. Well, I don't know. They're administered... She's being... Her test is being administered by a woman named Tori from Dauntless. She's got all these tattoos. She's in black. Oh,
what?
It's crazy.
Did you say she's black?
She's in black.
Okay.
No, not she is black. She's wearing
That's
black.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
A black person?
I've never seen that before. So like the first bit of the test, she's like, they're like, choose cheese or a knife. She's like, no, I don't want to choose either.
Fuck you.
And then a dog shows up and it's rabid, and she goes like submissive on it, where she like, you know how like wolves will like bend down and like show their
She bows to the dog.
And then the dog's like, OMG, we're buds now, best friends.
Yeah.
And then a little kid comes around. The dog's like, fuck that kid, and attacks the kid, and Beatrice throws her body on top of the dog.
Yeah.
And then at the end...
She squishes it.
She squanches it. At the end, there's a man in a bus, and he's like, do you know this person? This person is a criminal. Do you know this person? And she's like, in her brain, she's like, I know that I do, but she's like, no, I don't know him.
Okay.
And so when she wakes up, Tori's like, give me 5. She's like, what? And when she comes back...
So we're skipping over that she killed the dog?
She didn't kill the dog. I don't know what happened to the dog.
You said she squished the dog.
You said she squished the dog. I agreed with you.
She jumped onto a dog. That's squishing a dog.
Remember when my cousin got pancaked?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell that story, but that was funny. Okay. The dog's not dead. It's a fake dog anyways.
Still.
It's a big dog. It's not like a tiny little dog.
You still heard of big dog.
No, Justin, did you forget how petite and tiny she is?
Oh, okay. I didn't know she was petite and tiny. I was thinking about my 300-pound
I do not know
ass.
how much more clear I can make it that she is petite and tiny and small.
Yeah.
And she's just a little girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me make it clear. And not like in the petite and tiny that Katniss was, because Katniss was malnourished.
Yeah.
This is just tiny.
In a hot way,
Yeah.
but not a hot way because she's 16, but...
But...
Pedophiles?
Oh. Stop making me lose... Okay. So, Tori comes back and she's like, so the test only ruled out 2 factions. Typically it rules out all of them except for the one that they should join. And it only ruled out amity or candor, which we'll go over.
Amity is the one she's from, right?
She's from abnegation.
Oh, okay.
So her test showed that she had aptitude for basically smart boys, losers, and fighting, which are erudite, abnegation, and dauntless. And Tori's like, oh my god, you're
I ain't no
divergent.
beta.
She's like, you're divergent, you can't tell anyone. It's dangerous. And luckily, like, they're not supposed to share their results, so she's like, what the fuck do I do? What do I fucking pick? Like, that was supposed to tell me what I need to pick.
Yeah.
That didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But she gets, like, on the walk home, she gives food to a factionless man, so somebody who's not a part of the 5 factions. And he's like...
The caste system kind of threw them out.
Yeah. And, they get the shitty jobs in society. But she's like...
What do you think the the POC breakdown is?
Yes. And so she's shaken from this encounter, and she and Caleb talk about the test, and she's like, Caleb, like, I got sick afterwards and had to go home. And he's like, no, I think you're lying. And she's like, well, I'm not going to elaborate on it. But Caleb's really pushy about it, and they just agree not to discuss it.
Yeah.
And at dinner that night, she listens to her father bitch about government stuff.
Hell yeah.
So both her mother and father are in the government.
Oh, they're in the government?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Not like, oh, I can't stand what the government's doing. They're like, I'm the government. And it's annoying to be something.
I'm the government, and it's really hard to keep these castes, these...
No, they're good.
Less fortunate.
No, these
oppressed.
are the good guys. So, apparently the, like, main leader of the government, his name is Marcus, is under some scrutiny because his son chose Dauntless instead of Abnegation like 2 or 3 years ago.
And Abnegation, are those the political boys?
Abnegation is politic boys. Also the losers, as you stated earlier.
I don't know if I called them losers.
You did.
Did I say water boys and losers? Is my last 2?
No, losers was your first one. NPCs.
Yeah, I was talking about the one that she's originally from.
The Abnegation.
She is part of the political boys right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's Abnegation from birth.
Okay.
Anyways, so the erudite leaders, the smart boys, her name's Jeannie Matthews, is publishing really negative news about Marcus and how he beat his son, Tobias.
Oh.
And how can somebody who's part of Abnegation, which preaches, like, selflessness and things like that, beat his son and be the leader of...
Yeah, I thought the loser boys was a separate thing from the political boys.
No. Whoa. So, here, I'll just go into this real quick. So, Abnegation preaches, like, selflessness. And they're the people who blamed selfishness for, like, the downfall of man. They work as the government leaders. Dauntless are fearless.
Government leaders in such they're making policy by themselves, or they are fulfilling the roles of the government?
So the way their government works is the abnegation has majority of everything, and each other faction gets like one person voted in to be their spokesperson. But because abnegation is thought to be so selfless, like they wouldn't do anything so bad, they've been given the roles in the governments.
Okay, so they're the villains.
I guess. That's your thought?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't just put yourself in a position of authority like that and be like, oh, we're listening to 6 people, it's fine.
We're listening to everybody, guys. Literally stop. So then Eruditus, smart people. They became like teachers and researchers. Candor is like ungodly, truthful law folk. And then there's Amity, which I just call hippie. So they became like counselors, caretakers, and farmers.
Okay, so you got farmer therapists.
Yeah.
Political boys. Warrior boys.
Okay.
Fight boys. And hippie boys. Or did I do that one first?
I think you did hippie boys first.
Okay. What is...
Do I need to print this out for
Let
you?
me make... Okay.
Okay, do...
Another boy list. Farmer boy, hippie boy.
Okay. That's one?
Yes.
Okay.
Political boys. Who are the villains?
Okay.
Dauntless.
Okay.
Fighting boys.
Yes.
The only one I can remember.
Uh-huh.
Then you got lawyer boys.
Yeah.
That are separate from the political boys.
Yeah.
And then... What's the last one?
Smart.
Smart boys. So you got political, smart, and... Lawyer boys.
Yeah.
Those are 3 different boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
You got him settled?
Yeah.
She's a part of abnegation.
The political boys.
Selfless and political boys, yes. You good? Feeling okay?
So wait.
Okay, no.
Is it defined by job or defined by role?
It's defined by...
Like character.
Yeah, it's defined by, like, a set of rules you have to follow. They just turn out, like, abnegation just is the government also. So, like, there could be people in abnegation who just, like, volunteer with the faction list, and that's their job.
Is there people in the government that aren't?
There's one representative from each.
And that's it. There's no,
and the rest are abnegation.
A Dauntless can't be in the government.
Not,
besides the head role.
Yeah. And then in each faction, there's, like, the leaders of the faction.
So their jobs are separated into this one faction does this job.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you cannot do this job if you're not in this faction.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. You good?
But they all live together and stuff?
Ish, no. They have different compounds they live in.
They all work together?
They mingle.
Okay.
It's very separate.
Okay, so it's like different states.
Yeah, but, like, the kids go to school together. Like, all the kids go to school together.
That's what I'm saying is, like...
What? Where am I losing you?
I'm saying them as, like, 5 circles, okay?
Okay.
And then the middle circles where everybody works and does shit.
Yeah.
And they all do that together.
Yeah.
But they live and primarily reside in their separate bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking. I'm just checking. So, again, like I'm saying, the primarily abnegation government is receiving, like, negative hate from the erudite people. And they're basically like, how can abnegation preach all this, like, selflessness and blah 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 when their leader Marcus is being accused of beating his son Tobias? Which feels like a pretty valid point.
The president of Be Nice and Kind got caught beating his son.
Not caught, allegedly beats his son, yes. Beat his son because his son chose dauntless instead of abnegation.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, how can this be true?
So he's the president of the whole shit.
Pretty much, yeah. He's like president. And then there's like the secretaries and the Congress and House would be all abnegation.
Okay.
And then there would be, like, a couple of extra folks.
So, like, the extra folks are just the cabinet. Like, they don't actually have power in the government. Mm-mm. They can just talk to the president and be like, hey, do this thing, please.
Yeah. So, are you feeling okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the night, Caleb tells Beatrice that they just need to think of their families, but also they need to think of themselves to make these choices that they're going to make the day after.
Yeah.
And then it's choosing day. Anxiety, because...
So wait. It's the political guy's, head political guy's son in this class of picking shit out?
2 years, 2 years earlier.
Okay.
So, like, that's when it all started, is Eurydice was like, how can abnegation...
So this has been brewing.
Yes.
It's not just happening.
No, it's brewing.
Okay.
So, they walk up the 20 fucking floors because they're selfless. And they're like, well, it would be kind. So they walk up 20 fucking floors, which, like, absolutely fucking
For
not.
what reason would it be kind?
So that people could get in the elevator faster. Yeah, they have elevators. And Beatrice's mom is like... Beatrice, I love you no matter what your choices are. So during the ceremony...
Except I will disown you.
During the ceremony, she still has no idea what she's going to do.
Yeah.
And this one aspect drives me fucking nuts in the book. So they're going alphabetically.
Yep.
Except for the person that goes in front of the prior siblings is James Tucker.
That's not how alphabet.
I spent 3 minutes doing the alphabet trying to decide if I was fucking crazy or not. P comes before T.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just name that guy a different name?
I was like... Anyways, Caleb goes first.
Yeah, that's first book mistake.
Right. Caleb goes first, and by the way, they use the same knife to cut all the kids' hands, and then they drop a little bit of blood in a bowl to choose their faction.
Super cool.
Yeah. Caleb does not choose his home faction. He chooses Eurydice, which is the smart boys, who are actively coming out against abnegation, his home faction.
Oh.
Which is crazy. You know, like, that's a big deal. Which makes her feel even more guilty. She's like, I have to choose abnegation. But then in a fit of passion, she chooses Dauntless.
So all the abnegation kids are getting out of there.
It seems like a lot of abnegation kids are not choosing to stay there. Yeah. Yes. In the Dauntless crowd, again, she's really short. Uber short.
Oh, tiny.
A little girl, you would say.
A little baby girl.
Her father, like, won't even look at her in the eye. Yeah. But her mom's, like, smiling and like, hey,
what's up?
And because the Dauntless are so quirky and crazy, they run down the 20 flights of stairs. They're so quirky and crazy.
Oh, my God.
And then their
Just jump. Honestly.
Just do it. Their first act of initiation is to actually jump on an active moving train.
Yeah.
And she does make it with
They're
help.
Like, hey, this is how we get places, so...
So you gotta learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And she gets some help from a Candor girl named Christina. And about 30 minutes into their train ride...
Candor is a different faction.
Candor is the Truth Boys, the lawyers.
So she's from the Truth Boys.
She's also a transfer.
Okay.
Is what they call them. So...
Well, do the regular Dauntless guys do this... Rituation?
Yeah, they still have to do initiation, but they're separated.
Okay.
So
these are all the transfers she's with right now?
Most of them. She's only talking to the transfers.
Okay.
Because all the Dauntless-born initiates know each other already.
Oh, and know what the fuck they're doing, because they've gotten around that way for...
Pretty much. So then the next step of initiation is actually jumping off the train onto a roof.
Yeah.
And, trigger warning, some of them don't make it.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, what?
One of the girls, a Dauntless-born initiate, does not make the jump and falls to her death.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Out of nowhere, too. It's just like, whoa.
And they don't, like, stop, like, holy shit.
No, they're still going.
So that's happened before.
Musta. And, like, the girl, apparently she was, like, a twin, and so her other twin is, like, crying.
And no one's paying attention to them.
No, they're like, we gotta keep moving. Next. Because you know why? They're so brave.
That's not bravery, that's
not bravery.
cruelty.
Cruelty. And the thing is, too, that's really annoying is that some of the kids on the train are like, I'm not fucking jumping that.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
And then, because they don't, they're factionless now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So then a guy named Peter starts making fun of her for rolling her sleeves up.
They're like, that girl just fucking died.
Yeah, what do you mean? She's dead.
She just fucking died.
Uh-huh.
And they're like,
losers.
You're the worst.
You're literally not brave.
You're basically homeless now.
Yeah. No, you are a homeless person now. Yeah.
Yep.
So, she's being called a stiff, which is like the derogatory term for abnegation there. Because, like, you're so stiff and you do things the proper ways.
Yeah.
And Peter will be a recurring character.
Peter.
Then a Dauntless leader shows up and is like, hey, my name's Max. That, I believe, is Macklemore. And he's like, your first task is to jump off the ledge of this. There's like a hole in the roof. Is to jump off. It's like a 20-story building.
Yeah.
Because, again, they're all, like, old, dilapidated Chicago buildings. Mm. And they're like, is there anything below? And he's like, I'm not telling. Be brave. No, be brave.
That's the thing, is like...
You're not being brave.
It has to be something down there.
That's her thought process. Because, remember, she got smarts on her thing.
Yeah.
Is she's like, okay, well, they're not going to fucking kill us all.
Yeah.
There's got to be something down there. Water, a net, a mat, something's down there to catch me. Yeah. Big trampoline. Whoa!
Go right back up. Hey, we're actually meeting on the 18th floor, so...
See you in a minute. So she actually takes the first jump, which is, like, crazy. She's a stiff. Like, what?
Yeah.
And she obviously hits a net because they're not going to kill every single one of their new initiates. That other girl who did die, that's her fault.
That's her fault.
Should have been more dauntless. Like, how could she have been more dauntless? She took the jump.
Yeah.
You guys should have had safety measures below. Anyways. And then he grabs her off the net.
The hot one. Well, the hot four.
Yeah, and he is a young man.
That's the only character's name I know, because it's a number.
It's a number, and we did just read a book all about the number 4. Yeah. But this is how he's described. A young man who has a spare upper lip and a full lower lip. And he has a deep set of eyes, so deep that his eyelashes touch the skin under his eyebrows. And he has dark blue eyes, a dreaming, sleeping, waiting color.
What?
I don't know.
I can't even imagine that.
I can't either, because then the next, like, another description of his eyes is that his eyes are so blue that they're almost black.
What?
I'm like, I don't think that's how that works.
So he has really dark blue eyes?
Apparently. But they're very sunken in a hot way.
Damn.
So just picture...
Look at that. Look at that dude with the sunken in eyes.
So just picture Theo James. This guy's Theo James.
Yeah.
And oh wow, Theo James is yummy. We all know that. Mm-hmm. We're all aware.
We're all adults here.
Well, except for Beatrice. She's 16. 4 is an adult.
What?
He's 18.
Okay.
Not like a crazy adult. And he introduces himself as 4, and he's like, you get to choose a new name. And she chooses Triss. And now she's being welcomed into Dauntless. So that was stage 1. That was like what I thought the first part would be.
Does everybody get a new name? In all the factions, or just... Okay.
No, I don't know about any of the other factions.
Well, is her brother's name the same?
Her brother's name remains Caleb, but we don't know if he was given the option. We don't know anything about any of the other initiations. So again, just real quick, I'm going to go through. We've got abnegation, selflessness. They run the government.
Government boys.
Dauntless.
Fighting boys.
Fearless fighting boys. They do protection. Erudite. Smart.
Yeah.
Teachers and researchers. Candor. Leaders in law. Very truthful. Mm-hmm. Amity. Hippie. Counselors, caretakers, farmers. You feeling okay? We're gonna.
The hippie ones are the ones that actually do community outreach shit.
No, the abnegation do community outreach, but more like towards those who are less fortunate.
Okay.
So, like, towards the factionless and stuff like that.
So...
And they eat very plain meals. I'll keep going. So, like I said, those are the 5 factions. Okay? So you will have to remember those.
Okay.
There
Super
will be a
glad that
test.
we got all these boys organized.
Me too. But there will be... You heard me, the test will be coming.
What test?
I'm going to test you.
Oh.
Ooh. All right, so the next part I labeled Getting Dauntless, and it's up to Chapter 12. So, like I said, the Dauntless-born initiates are separated from the transfer initiates. Mm-hmm. And there are only 9 transfers. And it's mostly Eurydice and Candor, who are... Eurydice is...
Smart boys.
Candor is...
Lawyer boys.
Truth boys. And she's the only one from Abnegation, and there's none from the other faction, Amity. What? You got something to say?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Amity is the hippie boys.
Yeah.
Because hippie boys want to be cops.
Mm-mm.
Hell no.
ACAB.
ACAB, baby.
Amity's like, ACAB, motherfucker. 4 does this little intimidation thing, and Triss is like, damn, I gotta be wary of him. And they're given a tour. Their home is called The Pit.
Radical. I wish I lived in the
This actually
pit.
pisses me off because, again, they're in Chicago. Where would The Pit be in Chicago?
In the crater.
What crater? Exactly.
Whatever war happened.
I guess, but it's like a dark cavern with rock walls and,
Yeah.
you know, different paths and all that kinds of crap. And the stairways have, like, no railing because they're so brave. That's just a dumb safety
like
thing.
OSHA.
Yeah.
Like,
Then there's also the chasm.
maybe that's why all their buildings are shitty, because all the other factions are like, yeah, we're not going in there.
Yeah, fuck that, bro.
That's just stupid. That's what I hate about YA novels.
It's
mixing
brave.
up bravery with stupidity.
Mm-mm. It's very brave. Okay, brave. There's the chasm, which is the has a river under it. It's I guess the Chicago River. I don't know.
Does Chicago? Yes, it does go underground in some places, but
It must be really underground here.
all right.
They eat, and because her faction typically eats like such plain food, she actually doesn't even know what a hamburger is. So 4 tells her.
She says burger time.
And then another young man walks in, and he's got so many piercings on his face, she's like, I can't even keep fucking count of them. Because of bravery.
Oh my god, that's so brave of him
It's
to
so
get
brave.
piercings.
You know what's even more brave is that his hair is long and greasy.
Oh.
Brave.
Brave not to shower.
I mean, kinda. His name is Eric, and he's one of the 5 Dauntless leaders. And he seems to have beef with 4. What?
Hey, what up? My name's Paul.
Yeah. Triss is not really good at reading other people's sarcasm or anything like that. So she, like, spends time learning. And she's like, I don't think they like each other very much. And she's also like, Eric's really young. And they're like, yeah, age doesn't really matter here. Which it should in some cases. Just putting that out.
Like the 16-year-olds you're talking to?
Uh-huh. Eric shows them to the dorm, and he's like, you have training every morning at 8, and there will be 3 stages of initiation. For stages 1 and 3, you're ranked. Well, you're ranked the whole time, but stages 1 and 3, if you're in the bottom, like, X number, you're gone.
So they're just making people homeless left and right.
Literally, and some of these people are like, yo, like, I wouldn't have chosen Dauntless if I knew that. And he's like, that's not very brave of you.
Again,
Yeah.
bravery and stupidity.
Well, you're talking about that. That's, like, a big point for, like, these folk. Like, is, like, 4's like, this isn't the old Dauntless, like, I knew. And Eric's like, fuck yeah, like, we're gonna do this shit.
X Games mode, motherfucker.
So only the top 10 initiates are actually made Dauntless. And, again, there are 9 of the non-Dauntless initiates.
Okay,
I don't
so
remember how many Dauntless there are.
90% at least
Of these folks are gone. So, she does some nighttime self-reflection, and another boy, this, like, huge boy named Al.
Very cop thing to do.
What?
Make people homeless.
Does crying out loud, and she realizes she doesn't feel, sad for him. She feels disgust. Because somebody who looks so strong shouldn't act so weak. And you know why?
Boy.
Boys shouldn't cry.
Oh, boys don't cry.
Their first day of practice, what do you think they do?
Knives.
How about guns?
Is it gun safety?
No, it's shooting them.
Did they learn gun safety
They
first?
did like an hour of this is how you shoot a gun.
Did they do any gun safety?
So then she can shoot the gun. And she has this group of people that she's starting to talk to, and it's Christina, Al, and Will.
Christina Aguilera?
Yes. The four of them, or then they get to go to fight class.
Okay.
And they do 1 day of technique, and then the next day they're going to bare knuckle box each other.
Hey. Okay, so the thing
You know why? Brave.
Do you know... Okay, here's the
Brave.
thing about bare knuckle boxing.
Is it's so brave.
No. We have boxing gloves to protect the person punching.
I don't understand, because it's really brave to do this.
Not the one getting punched.
I'm confused. Brave.
It keeps you from breaking your hand, so you can actually hit harder.
Justin, they're dauntless. Did you think of that? Didn't think so. So anyways, 4 gives her some personalized tips. This is like day 3 of being there, about how she needs to use her knees and elbows because, again, she's just so itty-bitty and petite. And he actually presses his hand to her stomach, and I talked to you about this, because the heel of his hand touches one side of her rib cage, and then his fingertips touch the other. So I don't know if she's talking about the rib cage or her tummy, because if they're talking about his hand is big enough to cover her whole tummy, that's like...
A child.
That's literally wrong. Like, it actually kind of makes you sick thinking about it.
Is she prepubescent? Like...
No, Justin, I cannot make it more clear how petite and brave she is. She's so petite. Justin, she's basically a little girl. But don't worry, she's 16, which is still a girl. But she's super petite.
So she has, like, a body of an 8-year-old.
Literally. Yeah. And that's, remember how I was, not when I was making sounds earlier reading this, but, like, when I was reading it in the, like, last couple days. It's, like, so hard to read this because I'm like, but that's not how people look.
Yeah. That's how a child looks.
That's how children look.
Like, not teens.
And even then, like, I mean, I was way skinnier as a 16-year-old. Duh, my metabolism was different, and I was able to do things differently.
Yeah.
Now I'm, 24? My body looks completely different.
And you're also very, very pregnant.
Yeah, well, that doesn't count right now. But, like, this is how people get disorders.
Yeah.
Is by having this main character be, oh, she's so itty-bitty tiny. It's like, she can't fight then. Why is she in the fight class?
Yeah, she dies.
Yeah.
She's in the fight class and she actually dies.
Yeah, it actually pisses me off a lot. They end up getting tattoos. And she gets a black dress, and she's getting dressed up now by Christina.
Yeah, everybody who got tattoos at 16 really loves their tattoos still.
She gets tattoos of 3 birds flying into her heart to symbolize each of her family members she left behind.
Cool.
Anyways,
I got a tattoo when I turned 18.
I got triangles.
Or 18 and a half.
When did I get mine first?
I think you were like 20.
It was right before COVID. And then I got my second one during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had to talk my tattoo artist. I was like, it's literally triangles. And he's like, that's awesome. Triangles mean blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's literally just triangles.
I like triangles.
I like triangles.
But sometimes I wish I did something different with my tattoos. And I still like my tattoos.
Yeah. It's like
after a certain while, like, you wish you did something different with your tattoos, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, that's a normal thing. I was 16 and got a tattoo.
You would have needed laser surgery.
Yeah.
Anyways, the woman who does her tattoos is actually Tori, the woman who administered her aptitude test.
You know, aptitude test and tattoo person.
Yeah. It's a volunteer job, the aptitude test.
Oh.
Then it's fighting day, and Triss is not selected to fight in her first, day.
What?
I know, shocking. But she's really grossed out by the fights. You know, like... It's hard to watch. Again, it's children bare knuckle boxing each other.
Yeah.
And Peter, we talked about Peter, he's got a clique of Drew and Molly. And apparently these 3 people have just been bullying the shit out of her since they got there.
Radical.
They're the bad guys
it's
right now.
because they're children.
Yes.
They're being asshole children, which is, like, a lot more forgivable than...
Yeah. being an asshole adult.
Yeah.
And Al has to beat the shit out of Will, apparently, because Eric is like, we're fighting until someone's down. We're not fighting until someone taps out. We're fighting until they're KO'd or cannot get up. Which,
hey, if you wanted to stop, why wouldn't you just lay down?
Yeah. And so in the past, like, they would just call it, and Eric's like, that's the way it should be for bravery. And For's like, it's fucking barbaric.
Yeah.
And not only is it barbaric, but also it's, like, damaging.
Yeah.
Like, to fight is one thing. To fight bare knuckles is another. Safety issue. To fight until you're out.
Yes.
The repercussions on your body that would do. To fight until you are unconscious, your brain wouldn't be able to handle. They fight every day.
Here's the thing. Oh, they fight like that every day?
Every day.
Okay. Here's the thing. Try to turn off the computer without pressing shutdown or...
Yeah.
Like, beat the shit out of your computer until it turns off. Mm-hmm. Turn that back on.
Yeah. And then do it tomorrow. See how that works. It actually infuriates, because they're 16. They're still physically growing.
Yes.
Their brains are still maturing.
Concussions are worse when you're younger. Mm-hmm. Like, they're not good for anybody, obviously. No. But it's like broken bones when you're younger. You can hit shit that's still growing.
Yeah. And it's a little easier, but it's still not good.
It will stop growing.
Yeah. But it actually, this is the kind of trope that really upsets me, that, like, this fight club trope in, like, books. Because it's, like, super annoying. It's like, what is the gain?
Yeah. Which, I guess, is what 4 is arguing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no gain in this.
There would be gain if they were, like, technique fighting. And then
there would be gain if they were a gang and not like an organized.
They're supposed to work with each other.
Yes.
Anyway, it actually pisses me off a lot, especially because all I can think about is the like repercussions.
Yeah.
On their bodies.
Gangs don't even do this shit.
No. So Christina fights Molly, and Christina gets her ass kicked, and Christina's like, I'm out. She like taps out.
Yeah.
And Eric's like, fuck you. So right after this fight, he takes her over to the pit and then over the river and makes her hold herself on the ledge for 5 minutes.
Cool.
And which she does. And after 5 minutes, Al and Triss help her up, even though Eric's like, no, she's got to do it herself. And Al's like, it's not brave to do things like that yourself. Yeah. This is stupid, and this is how people are going to die.
Yeah.
The next day, she gets bullied, and they choose not to react. But that day in Fight Club, she learns she's going to have to fight Peter.
Peter.
So Peter's the, like, big guy that's been bullying her nonstop.
Do your Lois.
No.
Do it.
I don't
Come
want
on.
to. No, I'm not going to do
it. This is a throwback. We did this, what?
For the Hunger Games series.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing it. No.
Peter.
Anyway, Peter.
Hell yeah! Woo!
Anyway, Peter fucking destroys her, obviously.
Yeah.
But she keeps getting up. She's like, I just gotta keep getting up.
Yeah.
And 4 leaves the room.
And that's how you die.
Yes. And she's like, oh, maybe I'm not interesting enough for him to watch my fight. Because 4 leaves the room.
Do you know people die in the ring because of mismatch, like...
Yeah. I mean, okay, so Peter's a 16-year-old. He's bigger. Like, okay, Triss is petite, tiny, 5'2", let's say 120 pounds. Peter's probably 6'2".
A big 16-year-old beating the shit out of, like, a 10-year-old.
Yeah, she's got the body of a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that every small person has the body of a 10-year-old. We're not saying that.
This book in particular
is writing like she's the teeniest, littlest person in the whole world, and she's just a baby.
Yeah.
Which is gross.
Yeah.
Anyways, it pisses me off. But when she wakes up, because again, she's like, maybe I'm not good enough for 4. She's in the hospital part with Christina and Al there, and Christina looks like shit because she was in another fight. After, they're back at the hospital.
Because that's where they need to go all the time.
Yeah. Well, they're still in the hospital, but Al gives her, like, a little bit of flirting. He's like, hey, queen, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, that's crazy. No. No. But they wonder if their parents will come on visiting day. And she sneaks out of the hospital. Oh. Because she doesn't want to give Peter the satisfaction that he put her in the hospital overnight.
Peter.
But she needed to be in there overnight because she was destroyed. The next morning, she's awoken by Christina. They've got like a little get-together to go to a little outside the Dauntless area event. And she's so injured she is unable to bend to tie her shoes.
Radical.
They get on the train, and Al picks her up and puts her in the train because, again, she's just so petite and so tiny. Little. I cannot stress it enough. And apparently they're going to look at the fence today. And she's like, hey, like, do you guys ever wonder what we're, like, guarding things from? And everyone's like, shut the fuck up. So no one has, like, the same level of curiosity as she does about it.
They're just like, this is what we do.
Yep. And at the fence, Christina and her stick together, and they learn that if they don't rank in the top 5 of 10, they're basically going to be the ones guarding the fence.
Okay.
Peter starts questioning 4 what his rank was, and we learn that 4 was ranked number 1 of his class, and Eric number 2
of his class.
Yeah, and so 4 was offered like a government job, and 4's like, I didn't want one. Yeah. And Peter's like, why? And he's like, fuck off.
Fuck you, I don't need to tell you.
A truck of Amity farm workers comes round, and the Dauntless guards check it. And Triss gets the opportunity to talk to her old faction friend, Robert, who transferred to Amity. And he's like, wow, like, are you okay? You can still transfer back to Abnegation. She's like, why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm weak? He's like, no. And I wrote, to be fair, she's physically destroyed.
Yeah,
This is one day after her fight.
Yeah.
And she's also not supposed to be talking to them. And so 4 talks to her and is like, why did you do that? And then he's like, also, BT dubs on the DL, you shouldn't be attacking first. You might win that way. And it's like, cool timing for.
After I've been hospitalized multiple times.
And she's like, why couldn't you watch my fight? And he's like, it wasn't something I could bear to watch.
I mean, I wouldn't stay to watch children beat the fuck out of each other.
But he stayed for all the other fights.
Yeah.
She's, that night, awoken by Eric telling them they gotta get dressed and go to the train. And they're also having the Dauntless-born initiates hang out with them.
Okay.
And they're doing paintball, basically, capture the flag paintball. And so 4 chooses her first, and she's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Pause. We obviously know 4 interests are the love interests here, right? Like, that's clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
he's not good at hiding it.
Yeah, and
he's got a position of power over her, which is what I realized earlier today.
And he's 18 and she's 16.
Yeah. So, like...
This is like a what is it? Teacher assistant?
Yeah.
Fucking...
I wrote, like, later, I was like, okay, like, it's really gross. This is one of the no-no tropes. I was telling you about no-no tropes earlier. Yeah. It's like things like incest. We don't do that.
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
City of Bones, I think it was. Whatever. It's just a no-no.
Yeah.
Teacher and student or power of authority and person under, don't do that.
Yeah. You don't have to do it, is the thing. Is like, no one's forcing you to.
No.
Like, it could just be another person in her class.
Yeah.
Or like
somebody who was like a friend with Eric, who's there all the time.
Yeah.
But no, he's her teacher.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I'm just realizing now in my, like, notes, like, he's not hiding it.
Yeah.
He's, like, constantly talking to her. Constantly picking her first for things.
Yeah.
He's not hiding it well. Anyways, he ends up picking all the people who are small and fast, whereas Eric is choosing big fight people.
Yeah.
And they get to what used to be the Navy Pier, and they start to argue about where they're going to put the flag and what their strategy will be, and she gets tired of, like, the group's fussing. So she's like, I'm just going to, like, fucking climb the Ferris wheel. Get to the high ground.
Cool.
And 4 follows her because, again, he's not very good at hiding.
Hey, guys, we're going to go fuck up there.
And while they're climbing, they have, like, romantic moments. She's like, my heart is racing, but not because of the heights. It's because he's so close to me.
Gross.
Control your emotions. You're literally climbing a Ferris wheel. And she realizes that, like, he's afraid of heights. And when she slips, his hand grabs her hip and ends up touching some bare skin.
Cool.
It kind of feels very,
like your shirt's not long enough?
well, that. But also like how, Stephanie Myers wrote Twilight very Mormon-y.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, his hand touched a sliver of her thigh.
Oh, her pants were ripped. Okay.
It's like, oh, okay. They continue to climb, and they see the place the other team settled.
Okay.
And on her way down, she missteps and is unable to get her feet down. And she's like, for help, for help.
Balls.
No, he just starts the Ferris wheel. And she's like, how'd you know it was going to work? And he's like, I didn't. You know what? Brave.
Actually, more of a first good try,
Super
I guess.
brave. And when they get back to the group, she's like, here's what's going on. Here's the plan. And when they go to grab the flag, Christina, like, ends up saying, like, come on, like, let me grab it. You're already the hero. Mm-hmm. And gives her, like, a patronizing look, which pisses her off. And then Christina gets all the glory, but Ford gives her a personalized well done.
What, a kiss or a dick pic?
No, he says well done.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is this groomer doing?
They have a little moment on the way back, and Ford's like, OMG, blah, blah, blah. And then Al, Will, and Christina, and Triss, and 2 people named Marlene and Uriah, who are from the Dauntless Born Initiates, are like, damn, Queen, like, you're the best. And they all have, like, a gab. She's like, I can do it. I can get through this.
Ford's fucking weird, though.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Go ahead.
You know how he's fucking weird?
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Like, I get the difference is only 2 years. But, like, I don't care what the difference is. If he was 16...
military higher-up.
Yeah, if he was 16, it would still be weird because he is her teacher.
He's a fucking military higher-up. What is he wanting anything to do with a 16-year-old?
Let alone a 16-year-old who looks like a child. Like, I cannot make it more clear how much she is supposed to look like a child.
Like, the oldest she looks from this is 14. Mm-hmm. From what you've been telling me.
Yeah.
13, 14.
Yeah. And I get it. She's 16. He knows she's 16. That doesn't make it any less weird because, again, he's in a position of power over her.
Yeah.
That's the real, like, ick for me. Like...
It's like the fucking thing where it's like, oh, she's immortal. Why'd you draw her like that then?
Yeah, why does she look like she's 12?
Why she look like a baby?
Yeah. So it's just really frustrating too. And like I said, he's not doing a good job hiding it in any ways. Which upon reread and look through my notes, I'm like, why is he so bad at that? Like, that would seem like the exact thing you wanted to hide. If you were in a position of power, simping over one of your students, which is disgusting, you've now put a target on that student's back.
Yeah. And, like, it's just like, why?
I don't know.
Like,
yeah.
It's so common in YA novels, and it's so disappointing.
Yeah. It'd be like if Haymitch and Katniss fell in love. Which makes me sick to even think about it.
Or fucking, Finn and his tributes? Or
yeah, Finnick and his tribute. Yeah.
It'd be fucking weird.
Are you ready to keep going? You got what you needed out?
Well, wait, he did fall in love with one of his tributes.
Finnick?
Yeah, didn't he?
He fell in love with Annie afterwards.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I suppose.
But that was after they were the same, position in life.
He probably wasn't training Annie. That was probably Mags or a different tribute.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the next bit, they learn how to throw daggers, and she's able to kind of get the hang of it in the first class. But they're being trained by Eric and Four, and Eric is, in a vicious mood, and when Al can't hit the target, he's get in front of the target and throw knives at him until he learns how to not flinch. And Triss is fuck off, she speaks up, she's that's literally not brave, anyone can do that. And she ends up doing that, and, 3 knives get thrown of her, and she's fine, and then 1 nicks her ear. And Eric's I'm keeping an eye on you. In, a good way. He's And afterwards, she's Ford, what the fuck? And Ford's I'm tired of waiting for you to catch on. And I would have hurt you if I really wanted to. So she realizes in the next few days that she's starting to build muscle. she's starting to not look like a preteen anymore.
Like a preteen with muscle.
Yes. She's a little stronger. She has to go back to her dorm in a towel because the pants she has no longer fit her. Trigger warning.
What? Wasn't she just wearing them?
I know. Trigger warning, though. Nothing terrible, but just ick. And assault in a way.
Can you tell the audience what my face is doing right now?
I don't even know what your face is doing. Just shock.
What?
Yeah, so there's two situations like this. One in this part, and then so far one in the other part. That shocked me. I didn't remember them at all.
Yeah.
And so she's going back to the dorm in a towel where Peter, Drew, and Molly are there. And they rip it off. And basically she has to run out of there naked. And, they're making comments about her body. Like, are you sure you're 16? Things like... Those are comments being made about her actively by other people in her age group.
So, in universe, she does not look like a 16-year-old.
I told you that. I cannot make it more clear.
So, canonically, people have said, you do not look like a 16-year-old.
Yeah. To be fair, the guy who says it is the guy bullying her, but he makes two comments about it at two separate parts. They do have to relate with an assault that happens to her.
Yeah, because a nice person wouldn't say anything about it. But still.
Yeah. So she decides that she wants to hurt them, and she will. Her next fight is with Molly, and
I'm so disgusted by 4.
I know. Just breathe.
How did 4 become Jacob? Like, fucking
right.
imprinting on a baby.
Just because their ages are closer doesn't mean it's less ick.
No, not at all.
Especially, again, you think about it, 18 and 16 doesn't seem like a lot.
But also, she is a new recruit that looks like a preteen.
Yeah.
And he is the highest of his class, 18-year-old.
Could have been government.
Could have been military leadership.
Yeah.
They're in 2 separate stages of their life.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. 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 Also, I want to say, Triss is newly 16. Her birthday was the day before the ceremony.
So it's not like she's 16 and a half, solidly into it.
Or almost 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's almost 16 if you think about it.
Yeah. Take some breaths. It's okay. We've got it. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Yep. So she ends up beating the shit. Oh.
Here's the thing too. Okay. He could be the other way.
Yeah, he could be closer to 19.
Yeah, he could be almost 19.
Yeah.
So it's 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, the most extreme.
And that's why it's so hard to read these books nowadays.
Yeah.
Like a young adult. Because I'm like, 1, why are we emphasizing her petiteness, her childlikeness so much? 2, why, when that is happening, is her teacher falling in love with her? I do not care the age difference.
Yes. And why is it physical romance?
Yeah. They've talked 4 times.
Yes. It can be, you could just build this out and, it'd be a remote, a emotional romance where 4 is hey, we need to wait, we just need to slow down, this isn't appropriate.
Yeah.
And...
No, instead he's egging her on.
Yeah. They're having, this...
Yeah. He's I'm tired of waiting
more
for you to catch on.
More forbidden love of...
Mm-hmm. And it feels forbidden.
Yeah, it's a forbidden love right now because it feels like pedophilia.
Yeah. It's forbidden because if you're reading this as a young adult, how old was I?
Yeah.
12 when this came out?
Yeah.
I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my God, she's so special. 4 likes her back.
It is not a good thing that 4 likes her back.
I know, but say you read this at the audience age, it's supposed to come through 12 to 16.
Yeah.
You're reading this, you're like, oh my God, 4 is so hot and sexy. Triss is...
Because he would be the other way.
Yeah.
The other way, he's an older, good-looking guy that's in a position of authority.
And how awesome would that be if you were reading this book? That would be great.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And then I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yes. She is not the villain in this.
No.
She is getting groomed by 4.
Yeah. And it feels like she's actively trying to ignore her feelings about it. Like, she says a couple different times, where she's like, why is he distracting me so much? Like, why am I allowing myself to be distracted? You know, like, things like that. You go ahead, because there's a bit that happens later that I think will really piss you off, but go ahead and say
But it's like, what is the point of this, for one?
And why is it so fast? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, why is it so fast? You could drag this out through the whole fucking series.
It's been like 2 weeks.
And, like, you're not going to have a romance book if they're just together the whole time. Honestly.
And as somebody... Okay, I'm going to say it. I actively read smut.
Yeah. I'm going to say it. I don't care that you broke your elbow.
But, like, those things, like, I need a good build-up. Like, there was, like, a book and a half where these two were just, will they, won't they, and they were kissing, but they weren't doing anything else. And I was like... Or
they weren't even kissing, where they're just pining. Like,
and it was so annoying, but I was like, when they finally... I was like, yes! And it was great.
Yeah.
But this, I'm like, one, again, they're children, so obviously not smut in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But I know there's a Fade to Black scene. Do you know Fade to Black?
Yeah.
So it's like... It grosses me out. It's a no-no trope.
Yeah.
You actually said one of the other no-no tropes. We mentioned incest, this, like, age, or not even age, but it's the power of authority.
Yeah.
And then the other one you mentioned earlier without knowing is why is this character so old and looks so young?
Yeah.
I hate that trope.
Like, there's just no point of it. Like, she could, like... Well, one, she could be an average body type for her age group.
Mm-hmm. Again, not bashing on people who are small.
Yeah. It's just like, there's already enough of that representation-wise, for sure. And two, like, what if she was just built?
Right?
Like, how cool would that be?
I'd make me feel less bad about fighting.
Yeah. And...
Yeah.
It's just all of these things that could be written differently to not make it feel gross.
Yeah.
But it feels gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Gotta keep going.
Ugh.
We still gotta get through this part, and we're a lot into it. So, the next day
Can we end the podcast?
What?
Can we end the podcast? Is that how far into it we are?
No. She, yes but no. She ends up beating the shit out of Molly and, like, kicking her in the face while she's down.
Cool.
And Four, like, has to pull her off. She's like, I wish I felt guilty, but I don't. It's like, that's wrong. You should still feel guilty. You should still have human emotions.
For sure, yeah. This might be... We're trying to do half-book episodes. This might be a third-book episode, because I'm fucking pissed about it.
Well, we had a lot of beginning. We had to set everything up, go over the factions, go over the author.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep going, because...
Well, we're also not into that plot because of me.
I know, it's okay. We got it. There's visiting day, and Eric is like, hey guys, like, don't seem too attached. Like, your new faction, we're, like, faction over blood, kind of thing. And then he stops her, and he's like, I may have underestimated you. You did really well yesterday. Which is what triggers her to be like, oh, I fucked up if he's proud of me. Yeah. A few of the transfer families are there, but she's even more surprised to see her mom there.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, whoa, what's going on? She's like, is somebody visiting Caleb? Is dad visiting Caleb? And her mom says that Abnegation has been denied access to the Erudite house from now on. So Abnegation is no longer allowed to enter the Erudite compound. Which is? Apparently allowed.
No, what is Erudite?
Erudite smart people. That's where Caleb goes now.
Oh, okay.
They talk about a few things, including, like, they talk about a few people, and then her mom gets serious and pulls her into a tunnel. And Trista's like, how the fuck do you know where we're going? And her mom's like, shut up. How are you ranked?
She was dauntless.
Her mom's like, how are you ranked? How are you fighting? She's like, I'm low. What's going on? And then she's like, good. Tell me your results. Tell me them. And she goes, my results were inconclusive.
Yeah.
And her mom goes, shit. Like, okay. All right, a lot of kids raised in Abnegation get that result. Interesting. And then she's like, you have to be careful. Don't draw attention to yourself. She's like, when you're a member, I need you to go tell Caleb to research the simulation serum. And then she's like, all right, peace. And Trista's like, and then she realizes her mom used to be dauntless. So,
do you think she's on, like, a mission, or she's just like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. We need to do something?
I honestly don't know. Probably that second one would be my thought.
Yeah. It's like, oh, shit's fucked up. Here's how I can help.
Yeah.
Or is it, I was sent here to figure out what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the discussion about pets later in a bit, they talk about the aptitude test and how it was hard to kill the dog. That was what the Dauntless thing was you killed the dog.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, it was really hard. And the Kandors are like, you're lying.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I tested into abnegation.
Yeah.
Which was not exactly a lie. But then it's the ranking time. And the last 4 of somebody is going to lose their place. It could be any version. It could be like 3 of the Dauntless Born, 1 of the non, things like that.
Yeah. You should have been just like, I was so alpha. The dog
was so alpha that.
The dog just bowed down to me.
Edward gets first. He's just a character we've not really spoken about a lot.
Oh, it's Edward.
Peter gets second. Will and Christina get 4th and 5th, and she's number 6 out of 9, which is not too bad. Molly, the person she beat the fuck out of, tells her, she's like, I'm going to get my revenge on you. Because you lose a lot of points if you lose to somebody who's under you, ranking-wise.
Can people get, ranked again that are kicked out?
No, they're gone.
Okay.
No other opportunities. They're
so it's just
factionless.
9 can fight 8 and climb up.
Mm-hmm. But once you're gone, you're gone.
Okay.
And that night, Edward is stabbed in the eye. So number 1 gets stabbed in the eye. And Peter and Drew are nowhere to be seen.
Super brave to stab someone in the eye.
Not at all cowardly.
Sleeping. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she, comforts him and stuff. And later, what's his face? Will and her are talking. He's like, this is not the, Dauntless. This is not their manifesto. And,
I read the manifesto, and this is not in there.
And nothing bad has ever happened with the word manifesto.
Nope.
Later that day, though, Edward and his girlfriend Myra...
Honestly, name a bad manifesto.
Name one.
Name one bad manifesto.
Edward and his girlfriend Myra decide to leave, and 2 of the Dauntless Born initiates have left, so she's past the first round of initiation. And as she's sitting by herself, she runs into Uriah. One of the Dauntless...
Uriah from Naruto.
He's one of the Dauntless Born initiates, and he's like, we're going on a little ritual thing. And she follows him.
I had a rest of the joke, but it's fine.
Oh, do you want to do it?
No, it's fine.
No, okay, here. And then she runs into what was it? Uriah?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, you just took so long to say it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Where was it? They go to the John Hancock Center and basically zip line across the city.
It's so weird you just said the John. It's like, oh yeah, they go to this real place that's real, yeah.
And not only is it real, it's the same place that we saw in the last book too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They go over the zip line on this Chicago, and then she's basically invited into the Dauntless Born. They're like, wow, you're not a shithead kind of thing. Oh, yeah.
She passed the vibe test finally.
Vibe test passed. And when she gets back, her transfer friends are kind of jealous. But she doesn't care. She's like, fuck that.
So wait. Can people transfer to a different one after getting kicked out? Or are they just...
They're factionless. These 16-year-olds are now homeless.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of the second stage, well, we weren't, but it starts. And the Dauntless Born and the transfers are together now. And basically, 4 calls them into a room one by one. And it's Triss's turn.
Oh, so they didn't kick everybody out. They're just here's the rankings right now.
No, they kicked 4 people out. Edward and Myra left.
And only kept 9?
What do you mean 9? No.
How many are there?
I don't know how many Dauntless Born there are, but there are 7 transfer initiates now.
Okay. And she is ranked 6 out of them.
Yes.
Who are the other 2?
We don't know.
Okay.
We haven't talked to the Dauntless Born initiates yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're gone.
I'm so confused. Wait. So
there's 2 groups.
How many initiates are there? Dauntless.
I don't know.
Is there more than 9?
Yes.
Okay. 50?
I don't know.
Okay.
But only 10 make it in.
So she was ranked out of all of them, or just the transfers?
Just the transfers.
And we only know about 7 of them.
What do you mean, we only know about 7 of them?
What are the other 2? Who are the other 2?
They left. Edward and Myra left.
They're just like, peace, I'm out?
Edward got stabbed in the eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He pieced, and Myra was his girlfriend and went with him.
Okay.
And the Dauntless Borns...
So they transferred out. They're just
they didn't transfer out. They are factionless now.
Okay, they gave up.
Yeah.
They're like
they're not brave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, are you good?
Yep.
Okay. So, basically, this next stage is a simulation. So, it's a test to teach her how to control emotions, and he watches from the computer while she's unconscious with some microchip in her neck.
Cool. She's in the Matrix.
No, so I just want to say, again, 4, who has expressed...
romantic interest in this child.
Is in a room alone with her while she's unconscious.
Nothing happens.
In the test, she's being attacked by crows, like lots of crows.
And there's just like this weird feeling of a hand touching her.
Shush up. And she like is able to calm herself down, and she's able to hop out of this simulation. And 4
she
takes...
said, I don't care about birds.
Screw them birds. 4 escorts her back to the dorms. There's 2 more people in the waiting room who were supposed to get tested. And she's, like, shaken up, and she's like, I want to go home. And he's like, no, seriously, you did really well. Like, you got out of there in 3 minutes, which is 3 times faster than anyone else. She's like, okay, what's your fear? And he's like, oh, my fear wasn't so much of a what, but a who.
Radical.
And he's like, also, don't worry. Like, your fears are going to keep getting replaced. And so...
You'll have new fears. It's fine.
They have an oddly romantic moment.
Honestly, that's the biggest message you need to get from...
What? More? There's going to be more?
When you're growing up. Hey, something else is going to scare you.
Loser.
So don't let that scare you too bad.
Don't worry, more's to come.
Yep. Hey, 10 years, you won't even think that's an issue.
They have their romantic moment in the stairwell where she's like really close to his face, and they're talking about the Dauntless leadership and how things were changed. But Eric is the second choice, and now he's jealous, blah, blah, blah. And when she gets back to the dorm, Peter's reading a newspaper article about how the abnegation faction is shitty, and they specifically mention Caleb and Beatrice leaving. Like, why would 2 of a military leader's kids choose to leave him?
Yeah.
And
military leader or political guy?
Oh, you're right. Sorry, political guy. And apparently Molly gave a false quote and was like, yeah, I hear her crying out in her sleep about things.
Liar.
And Will grabs her before she's able to, like, fuck him up, and they, like, decide to just go get tattooed. Yeah. And she gets another tattoo on her shoulder of the Dauntless seal. And on their way back, it's her, Christina...
Radical. She's always gonna appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. It's her, Christina, Will, and Al. They pass 4 who's drunk as fuck.
Hell yeah,
on the chasm. Or on the railing of the chasm. And he's like...
He's about to chasm.
He's like, Tris, come here. And then he kind of goes like, you're really pretty. And he's like, hey, girl, hey.
Hey,
and she's
I'm
like...
a drunk 18-year-old.
Yeah, she's like, okay, cool. And he's like, you're not supposed to see me like this.
Yeah.
And he's really flirty.
Oh my god. Okay, so I work with guards, like...
You're a lifeguard. You work with children.
Yes.
Youths, teenagers.
If any of them saw me, like, plastered...
Yeah, you'd be so embarrassed.
I'd be so fucking embarrassed.
How are you supposed to talk to them the next day?
Honestly.
If any of my coworkers who are all adults saw me plastered, I'd be like, that's it. I'm quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Will hears his, like, flirtiness, but then out of, like, kind of, like, jealousy and, like, worried about her, Al, like, grabs her, and she's, like, laughing, and they're being pulled away, and she's feeling very free.
Mm-hmm.
In the simulation again, she's in the dark in front of everyone, and then a glass container is filling with water. And she's drowning, but then, like, in the end, she's like, oh, I can control this, and breaks the glass. She's like, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
And 4's like, what the fuck? Like, you're Divergent? She's like, I don't know.
What are we? Just a baby.
Yeah, just a baby. But she's, like, not fooling him, and he's like, hide it better next time. And she's like, what just happened? This is one of my least favorite second tropes, is the main, like, character, like, being so hot or cold. Like, it's like, I like you, fuck off. And it's like, really? Like, that's not a way to get somebody to like you.
That's also not how people are, usually.
Yeah. She actually goes to talk to Tori, the woman who gave her the aptitude test. And Tori's like, okay, I know about it because my brother was Divergent. They kill people who are Divergent. Apparently people who are Divergent are able to control the simulations, which is a big no-no. And, once they found out, like, her brother was bragging about how good he was doing. Like, he was killing it. And he ended up passing, being found at the end of the chasm. What? Can't take chasm seriously?
No, I cannot take chasm.
What do you want me to call it? River, I guess?
No, keep calling it chasm. I love it. I love the chasm.
Oh. Tori warns Triss to be careful of the Dauntless leadership and that they don't really care about the fact that, like, the simulation's not the problem. Like, the ability to control the simulation.
There's something else that they don't
like. It's a symptom of the bigger issue. And Triss is like, oh, shit. Rats. But that's where we're going to end. That's 20 chapters. That's half the book.
God damn, I got pissed that episode.
Yeah. It's okay.
I hate this book, dude.
Oh, ready?
Yeah. There's a pedophile in it.
Not like a
He's a grooming pedophile.
I'm kidding. I'm on your side. I know. Like I said, it's definitely a first book. You can definitely feel it in the writing. It just is ick as an adult.
Yes.
I don't think I liked it when I read it as a kid. I think I remember being like, it's a little slow for me. Because, like, Hunger Games, you get, like, bump, and then it's, like, they're all fucking being hunted. Yeah. And then, like, Maze Runner's kind of the same thing. You're in, and you're blasted. Like, there's no... I don't know. Yeah. What can the book do to make it up to you?
Kill him.
No.
That's really what it would be.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration and see what happens next time.
Kill off the pedophile. That's what I would... I would... My notes would be, don't have the pedophile.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand.
And kill off the pedophile.
Wow, I love that you're saying that word so many times.
Yeah, trigger warning.
Yeah, you'll pop one in at the beginning, eh?
Yeah.
But okay, folks, follow us on social medias. We don't really do anything on them, but follow us. TikTok. YouTube. Leave us a review on Spotify. Follow us on Spotify. Apple Podcast to boot. Pretty much anywhere you can listen or see podcasts, we're there.
Yeah.
Anything else to add? Justin really loves 4. And my name's Blue, and I love to read.
My name's Justin. I hate 4, actually.
Oof.